This session is designed to deal with issues associated with marketing in light of heavier slaughter weights and fixed space facilities. So they've asked me as moderator this morning to start with a 15-minute setup, if you will, for the next two speakers who are going to fix our problems, because I'm going to tell you what they are. And having said that, we need to recognize that marketing sounds simple in idea. You get the right pigs on the truck and you all make money, but the decision of when to market and what pigs to put on the truck depend on your cost of space, depend on cost of gain, depend on packer payment grid, and you always got to remember there's 160 pigs on every truck. Okay? And those kinds of decisions heavily determine it. So one of the numbers that I can speak about very clearly is the cost of space. What's that underlying cost? Today, new nurseries are running $200 a pig space. That's 3 square foot per pig. It runs about 3.25 if you do outside building dimensions. Wean to finish, grow finish barns are $225, $230 a pig space after site prep. If you do permitting and road and water and electricity and all the other things, a lot of $325 a pig space to build, grow, finish. So these are significant numbers that clearly pay. The way we pay for space for much of the industry is contract fees. The first number for each type of facility is the traditional. Many contracts still have these numbers in them. Although as space has become tight with recent expansion, nurseries, I'm hearing $36 more and more. Grow finish, I've seen quite a few 38s and 40s. I've heard of even higher. Wean to finish, 42 to 44 is kind of the number it's going to take today to get anyone long-term interested in doing anything with you. The other one is marketing, involves a series of decisions, and these decisions clearly show up in USDA data. This is the prior day report, 201, and what I've done here is look at carcass weight for all pigs slaughtered in the U.S. versus Monday's carcass weight. Okay? So, what this says in 2014 and 2015 is we sell the lightest pigs of the week, Monday and Tuesday, and by Friday are always the heaviest pigs. And it took me a while to think about that. And I posed this question to some people in some production systems. What happens? Whatever. So what happens? What the reality of this data is, Monday and Tuesday you dump barns because you got to have space on Friday. Okay? Thursday and Friday are the oh shit loads to the packer of, God, they're getting heavy, I got to get some loads in. Okay? And it's very clear. Packer owned versus producer sold, no difference. This behavior happens across the board in the industry. Okay, so the marketing decisions show up in USDA data. The other thing we have to think about on marketing decisions is slaughter weight. So the black line since 1977 is the progression in carcass weight for U.S. barrows and gilts under federal inspection. The R squared on that is 0.98. We gain 1.3 pounds in carcass weight a year. Okay, and I've got 5 arrows. There's the drought of 88. There is 97, 98 when we couldn't kill pigs and they got heavy. There is the impact of DDGs. Live weight went up, but we didn't understand carcass yield at first. There is the drought and there's PED. But we're clearly on an uptrend yet in slaughter weight. The other one that, of course, is interest is barrows and gilts slaughtered. Another big uptrend in numbers killed, and we're well aware of that. This is Iowa, southern Minnesota. Going back to 2004. We've been running slightly under 2015. Looks like this fall we're going to be back on the race to heavy pigs. Okay? So, we have a fixed space barn, and the pigs are going to be bigger. The obvious question then is, what about space? We've all heard about this, and our next speaker will go into more detail, but basically we can define the pig's needs as a constant times body weight to the 2/3 power. I was part of a pork board funded effort led by Harold Gagno that in 2006 published the data that was then available on the impact of space. And our numbers came up in reviewing the literature of a constant of 0.034. The European standard is 0.035 when you express weight as in kilograms. The impact of space on feed intake is almost identical to the impact on daily gain. Therefore, the expected impact on feed conversion is almost nil. The predicted impact is very, very low. As a consequence, what do? If all we do is slow pigs down, but it doesn't impact 70% of our cost, we crowd pigs. How much is critical? And then we'll look at what's real. So if we predict what the animal's requirement is, and recognize that if we have a barn of 265-pound pigs, when the first pigs is sold, we're probably selling a 290 average sale weight. Okay, usually you add about 25 pounds to the average weight in the barn to get sale weight. But that's almost a 9 square foot requirement. And anything below that kind of stocking density, the pig will have a reduced feed intake and some reduction in daily gain. To help you understand this K value, these are pictures from my research at the University of Nebraska, but the idea, remember we had a K of 0.035 or 0.0334? This is 0.024. Might be a little crowded. There's 0.03. This is what it would take in terms of wrap your mind around. If we were going to let the individual pig grow to its genetic potential, space in a barn would have to look like this to help you understand this following discussion. The summary we did with Harold Gagno 10 years ago, each 3% change in space is a 1% change in gain and intake on full slats. Partial slats, the penalty is more severe because now the pig doesn't have the ability to separate dunging from sleeping and they express it more. And very little predictability on feed conversion long term. Having said that, the impact of space on gain. So let's go with we top pens at 250, which is going to be a 275 slaughter weight. The requirement is this. We know majority of barns in the U.S. are stocked somewhere around 7.2. 7.5 if you're feeling generous. Basically, the data that's available 10 years ago said that on full slats, daily gain for the entire grow finish period would be reduced 5%. Okay? And that's the entire period. The reason we have to express it that way is the literature we worked with in putting these numbers together did not have individual weight periods in the data sets as published. So we couldn't tell you exactly when it happened. All we could say was that from 50 pounds to 250, daily gain would be depressed 5%. Most of us at 7.2, the feeling of those of us that worked on this data, at 7.2 square foot, the reduction in gain starts happening 180 to 200 pounds. It's when you can begin measuring it very consistently in research settings. So what we've asked for the next two speakers is to come forward and help us understand space, and can we manipulate the response to space by using maybe some alternatives on how we pull pigs, the timing of sales, choice of markets and that. And then we've asked our second speaker, how does New Fashion Pork put in place a marketing plan when space is a fixed constraint?